And another type of question has come up, and I suppose people are trying to tie together the Anne Rice of Interview with the Vampire and the Anne Rice of Christ the Lord. In a recent Time Online interview, the question came up about the vampire novels, and you made a comment that you could conceive, or you could imagine yourself writing a Christian-themed novel in which the vampire Lestat found final redemption. And as I recall, Time Online sort of took that as a scoop, as though that was your plan for your next book.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I got a storm of emails on that, and the vast majority of them were favorable. Please, please, please write that novel. Can't Lestat be redeemed? Why can't he be redeemed? But what happened was I pondered the whole thing, and I realized that I'm not going to do that. I'm simply not going to write that novel. And the reason is I don't want to re-enter the world of the vampires with the reality of Jesus Christ. I don't want to do it. So I've decided that I'm going to leave the vampire novels as they are. For me, they are a finished work. They're a closed work. And several of those novels deal with Lestat being offered the opportunity to save himself. And I feel in Blood Canticle that he does take steps in that direction, that it is a novel in which he redeems himself and really resigns as the hero of the Vampire Chronicles. But I've really moved on to writing directly for Jesus Christ, and I can't see my way to going back to the world in which the vampires are supposedly real and with Jesus as a reality as well. I do think there's a possibility that I might write some Christian fiction that is supernatural. We know that C.S. Lewis did this very successfully, and we now know that J.R.R. Tolkien did too, although that wasn't talked about so much in the 60s when The Lord of the Rings first became popular. But I may do it, but I don't think it will involve the vampires. The vampires were really metaphors for me during my atheistic years searching for God. And the darkness in those novels was really symbolic of the darkness of the world in which I felt I lived as an atheist. And again, those works are complete. I'm going to leave them as they are. I do understand that there is a huge demand or a huge outcry for Christian supernatural novels, especially from teenagers. And I would like to experiment later on, if I have enough time in this world to finish the life of Christ, I might try to write that type of Christian novel, because that too would be for the Lord. But the vampires are going to have to stay where I left them.
Yes. It'd be sort of hard to go back into that world of darkness, as you said, once you've gotten used to walking in the light, as it were.
Well, you're absolutely right. What I have always done is given my readers everything that I feel and know. And I can't do that if I go back into that world. I would be cheating them. And so I'm not going to do it. I mean, it's very tempting when you get tons of emails telling you that people want this novel, but it's just not something that I feel or something I want to do. Again, there might be a supernatural fiction involving angels, that I could do that would be completely Christian in feel, but it would not involve those characters.
And it'd be wonderful to have something on the current literary scene that deals with angels from a specifically Christian point of view, and not sort of the new age thing that angels have become in popular culture.
Well, that's true. That's true. And I do think there are some Christian writers out there who are doing that. But I would love to do it my own way. But what I really want to do more than anything else, if I complete the life of our Lord, is to write my own big Christian novel about early Christianity in Rome. I grew up in the world of the robe, Quo Vadis, Ben-Hur, and those were all wonderful novels for that time. But I would like to do my big Christian novel like that, with my form of hyperrealism, my very realistic characters, and their very palpable emotional responses to things. I'd like to paint a picture of Rome under Nero and what was going on with the Christians. And I would like to get into that novel the joy of the Christians and the happiness and the richness of their lives. When you go back to the robe and you go back to Quo Vadis, it's the pagans who are having most of the fun in those novels. And I'd like to see if I could reverse that pattern.